Alright, so many of you have been hitting me up asking me, hey, what is the secret sauce? How do you actually make some serious dough? And not just enough to cover your avocado toast addiction. And honestly, the truth is so ridiculously simple, so anticlimactic, that most people just won't believe it. They want some magic formula, some hidden crypto coin that will moon overnight, but sorry to burst your bubble, that is not how the universe works. Not the financial one anyway. What I'm about to share with you. These 5 ways to seriously bump up your income heading into 2025 are all things I've either personally done or watched my inner circle absolutely crush. So if you're out there listening to my voice or you clicked on this video, I know you've got that fire in your belly, that burning desire to hit that 6-figure mark. To finally say goodbye to ramen noodles and hello to, well, slightly better noodles. So let's cut the small talk, buckle up, and dive right in. Because number 1 is probably sitting right under your nose, and you're too busy scrolling TikTok to even notice. Number 1, online tutoring, teaching, or coaching. I know. Some of you are already rolling your eyes thinking, oh great, another one of these. But hear me out, because this isn't about becoming a certified life coach with a fancy certificate you bought online for 50 bucks. No, this is about leveraging the knowledge you already possess, that unique edge you have, whether you realize it or not. Seriously, think about it. What are you genuinely interested in? What are you Maybe it is dominating a specific video game. Maybe it is even just organizing your ridiculously messy apartment in a way that sparks joy, like Marie Kondo, but with more sarcasm. That knowledge, that seemingly mundane skill, can actually be monetized. People are out there, literally billions of dollars are circulating in the online education space, and it is only getting bigger. It is like a giant, ever-expanding pie, and you, my friend, could be grabbing a massive slice now before you yell at your screen. But what about all the scams? All the grifters? I totally get it. I'm with you. There is a lot of noise out there. A lot of people selling dreams in a shiny package that turns out to be empty. You're right, I'll give you that. But to just dismiss the entire online education space as a scam because of a few bad apples, that is like saying all food is terrible because you once ate a really questionable hot dog. It is just not logical. There are multi-billionaires, legitimate, successful people who are sharing their insights, their tried and true methods, and genuinely impacting millions. And guess what? You don't need to be a multi-billionaire to do this. You can start small, super small. I'm talking about a workable scale. A scale where you're just helping a handful of people. It is what I'm doing. It is what countless others are, and it is a huge, untapped opportunity. Think about yourself 3 to 5 years ago. What questions did you have about your career, your hobbies, your life in general? That is what you want to focus on. Become the person you needed back then. It is such a simple concept, but so many people overthink it. So stop waiting for permission, stop waiting for someone to tell you you're an expert. Just start sharing what you know. Trust me on this. Which brings us seamlessly, like a perfectly executed transition in a YouTube video, to number 2, create content. This is an immediate segue, and honestly, I'm probably going to do a whole separate video just on this because it is that important. Whether it is YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, or even a blog. Creating content is not just about going viral, it is about building a funnel, a literal money-making machine. Not only can you attract coaching clients from your videos, which, let's be real, is a fantastic income stream, but you can also make money from the ads displayed on your videos or through sponsorships, brand deals, and affiliate links. The possibilities are endless, and they're only growing. Look at me, for example, and a bunch of other COD YouTubers in just the last few weeks. We've been getting monetized, not because we're doing anything groundbreaking, but because we're talking about interesting topics, sharing our unique viewpoints, and it is resonating with people. We're building something, and it is incredibly satisfying. Creating content is your funnel for everything you want to do. Everything is easier with an audience. Think of every single person you follow online. What did they start with? An audience? Their audience is the top of their funnel. It is the foundation of their entire business, their personal brand, their life. So if you're not already creating content, you're leaving so much money on the table. It is like going to a buffet and only eating one sad cucumber slice. Don't be that person. Start creating. Start sharing. Start building. You have a voice. Use it now. Number 3, freelancing or gig work. I know. I'm probably beating a dead horse here. I've talked about this so many times on this channel, but I need to backtrack a little bit because it is still so relevant. Obviously, if you already have a marketable skill, for the love of all that is holy, market and sell the hell out of it as a service. Seriously, offer it to businesses, to small businesses, to individuals, whatever. That is what I did. I understand, though, that many of you might be thinking, I don't have a marketable skill, and that is perfectly fine. That was the common theme in my past videos. People would comment, dude, this sounds great, you're in a great position, but I don't have what you have. I don't have your know-how, your skill set. I barely even understand what you do or what you did in your old corporate job. Can you explain it more? So let me break it down. Think of high-value skills like sales and marketing, paid ads management, software development, web design, or web development. These are all skills that businesses desperately need, and they're willing to pay top dollar for them. Whether on a freelance basis, which I personally recommend, or even on a general basis, you can make a ton of money by learning these things. So if you don't already have one of these high-demand skills, that is okay. This leads into points 4 and 5, especially point 5. But slowly, invest in yourself. Learn these skills. This is why I'm such a huge proponent of online education. I've personally invested tens of thousands of dollars. Yes, tens of thousands into courses, into consulting, into learning from people who are further ahead of me. That is how I got ahead. I realized, if this guy is 10 steps ahead of me, I could either grind through steps 1 to 9 all by myself, which is possible, but it would take me so much more time, or I could just jump to step 10, take all this guy's knowledge from his head, pay him for his time, and then roll from there. That is what I did, and it made all the difference. It also saved me a ton of time, so just keep that in the back of your mind. Businesses, especially, will pay you for your skill set. And if you don't have one, that is fine. Take 6 months. Take that time to learn these types of things, and you're going to make a crap load of money because of it. Trust me on that. Moving on to number 4. And these next 2 points are really for those of you who already have a 9-to-5 job, and you just want to de-risk a little bit. You want to keep it. You like the idea of owning your own business, but you just want to keep that steady income rolling for a couple more years or whatever, and that is totally fine. I actually recommend that to a certain extent. Don't quit your job if it is paying the bills, if you enjoy it, and you just want to tough it out for a couple more years to stack your cash and plan your grand exit. I totally support that. So, number 4, find a remote side job, keyword being remote. If you have the time, maybe an extra 10 to 20 hours a week, especially if you're a single young person or you're living at home or whatever, you could easily snag a remote job on the side. The massive bonus of that is it can be done from anywhere. You have location freedom, and it is even better if you can set your own hours. Think of some kind of sales gig or something where you can still work within a company, quote unquote, but you almost have your own kind of entrepreneurial journey where you can build your own business within a company. That is possible for so many of these roles that are popping up right now. So just think about that, because it is a huge possibility for a lot of people, and they just might not be considering it. Go on Fiverr, go on Upwork, explore those job board sites where people are looking for someone who doesn't necessarily want the full 40-hour grind, but someone who just wants to make some extra side cash. A couple $100 a week. Now, I could tell you to go drive Uber or DoorDash. And sure, you can do that, but there are so many barriers to entry for those. You don't just need a laptop, you need a physical car, you're bound to one city or location, and I've personally seen the horror stories of getting paid pennies for your time. I don't know how bad it is in certain states, but where I'm at, you don't make much, especially after taxes and all the other fees they take. So if I absolutely had to, sure, I would do it. But you need a lot of things to get through that. The barrier to entry for an online remote side job is so much lower, so that is what I would personally recommend if I were in your position. And finally, number 5, this one's a game changer. And for my friends working warehouse jobs, this might not apply directly, but if you're in a startup or a tech role or any role where you're adding tangible value, this is key. Just ask. Ask for the raise. Ask for the promotion. This is such a stupidly easy way to literally make an extra 20 to 30, even 35% on your salary, just by asking. I want to tell you a quick story about the stupid thing I did. I waited too damn long. I waited for my upper management, for the owner to tap me on the shoulder and say, "Hey, I think you're ready for a raise now." But here is the cold, hard truth. Companies will try to get everything out of you without paying you for it. That is just the law of nature. At least in my experience. Maybe not all companies are like that, but I would 100% argue most are. So, a buddy of mine, when I was still working at this old call center company for real estate, him and I were constantly competing for top performer status. And one day, he had this really good 2-month streak, just absolutely crushing it. He was an amazing guy, a couple of years older than me, and we were in a hyper-growth phase, hiring more call reps. Him and I came in earlier, so we had a lower base salary and a lower bonus. These newer reps were getting a higher base salary right off the bat with arguably less experience than us, and a kind of, what am I looking for? A higher base and higher splits on bonus. We were like, what the hell, that is not really fair. So he goes into it, and he just confronts the owner straight up. He is like, "Hey man, I'm hearing within the circle that you're paying more from a base salary perspective on these new hires. Nothing wrong, you do what you gotta do as a company, but I've been a top performer here for the last 6 months, and he was top performer of that for 2 months. And we're sitting here, he is just kind of twiddling his thumbs, being like, I want to get paid more. I deserve it. All he did was ask. The owner goes, all right, set up a meeting, let's do it this Friday, and I was sitting right beside him. I obviously didn't hear the damn thing, but I was sitting right beside him. And he comes off the call because it was a remote call, and he is like, I got it done. And I was like, how the hell did they're giving it to you? He is like, yeah, done, dude. You should just ask. And I was so much of well, let's just say I was too hesitant to ever ask. I waited for almost a year past that day to finally ask for the raise. And technically, I didn't even ask for it. I was kind of hinting at it. And then a week later, he came back, tapped me on the shoulder and said, hey man, let's chat about your pay. And I was so pissed looking back, being like, dude, I should have asked so much sooner. So please, if you have value, if you have some kind of case study to bring to your boss and be like, hey, this is why I should get the raise. And here's the data to prove it. Do it. 100% do it. You will not be regretting it. And it is only a win from there. So as always, if you've made it this far, you're a true champion. And I want to see you winning. Stay boring. Stay patient. Peace.